And Troll is one of those heroes that really does not care about those spells. Once he gets that BKB, he's really going to start running things down. If anything, it's a little bit unfortunate because Tingle King's hero pool is going to continue to get punished by these bans, but if they can figure out a decent hero for Tingle, they do have last pick. They can still flex a lot of stuff around. Ooh, Ember's also a good pick.
Quite good. Yep.
And we saw it in the same vein in that previous series where Ember, if you weren't able to keep him down, he's just able to play in pretty much 2 lanes at the same time. And we saw it picked up, I believe, with the Timbersaw as well, where your heroes are just so independent. You're able to get a lot of space done. And oh, they're banning out the monkey. Huh.
That is a little strange, but it is one of those things where they could run the Lycan in the off lane, right, for Tingle King, and then take Monkey King to the mid lane, and have Troll safe still against the Timbersaw. So it is one of those matchups that you do have to very much be worried about as an Ember Spirit.
10 seconds.
And having the last pick is very important for the cut, as we've also seen Nick, he's played the Troll Warlord mid, he's really able to play whatever he wants mid, but specifically with this Lycan Troll, they might decide to send the Troll mid, stick SMD on that Lycan, and that's why they might be trying to ban out some of these mid laners. It's a little bit difficult though. I'm really trying to figure out what Tingle King can play because all of the good offlaners, all of the top T1s, they're really taken out. His hero pool's really been minimized.
Yeah. I like the Medusa ban here. That's something that would have very much struggled with here on the side of the cut. Obviously, the Necro units can never really get on top of her just because she'll just Stone Gaze. Troll Warlord, battle trancing into a Stone Gaze is impossible. So we'll see what they decide to come up with here. But as far as safe lane matchups, you don't really, like I said, you don't see the off lane here from Tingle King. You have last pick for the cut. And they can flex these heroes around. So the question just comes down to you do something comfort here. They ban out the Alchemist. That's actually fantastic.
Perfect ban. I was just going to mention it. It's in the same vein. It's something that HFN loves to play. And it's something you would have had to really be scared of. So I'm glad the Alchemist finally. I was good. It was silent the whole draft. No mention of the Alchemist, and I'm glad that there will be no Alchemist in this game. As now, I mean, you still have the Weaver. It's a little bit risky versus the Shaman, but it's a really easy lane for you then. You just always are running down the Shaman. And I feel like that's the sort of hero that they're looking for on NoPing. Other than that, what else could you pick up? Because you don't want to be playing Wraith King into Troll Lycan. It just feels miserable. There's not much you can do. And there aren't a lot of safe laners banned. It's really just in this last phase. You still have the Weaver. What else? Besides either Wraith King, you can't really go PL.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a pretty good pick. The thing is, what if you just pick one of these heroes from the offlane that clear out illusions incredibly fast? I mean, you've already got a Shadow Shaman up there, and you're dealing with what is almost guaranteed to be the 5 Death Prophet. It's not a hero that's picked all that often anymore, but Centaur could be pretty sick.
And I wonder what Tingle King will end up playing because it feels awful trying to pick, let's say, Pit Ward. You don't want to play Pit Ward in this kind of game. I feel like it has to be, like you said, that B, C tier offlaners where if they could play Brewmaster or Sand King, something along those lines, that would be fantastic. But it's very rough. If there wasn't a Timbersaw, I would say they could just slam the Pit Ward, no problem. But Naga Siren, it's a classic counter to the Lycan. As soon as he pops his ultimate, if he doesn't pop BKB, you just have the Lycan Wolves running in. You always sleep his minions, and this is a really strong Naga pick, to be honest, coming out from them. And again, the cut, they have to decide what to put Tingle on. It's a really difficult decision.
Yeah, I don't know if you can put the Lycan in that lane, a hero that has borderline 0 armor, and you're dealing with the Death Prophet as well. I mean, it just seems so rough. So I imagine what we're seeing is the Lycan mid into the Ember, and again, Tingle King's hero here. Yeah, Sand King. Yeah. Okay, this one makes the most sense. I figured this is like one of the only heroes left in the pool that you could pick, something that still clears up those illusions, has a decent lane. Centaur, like I said, the only other hero that comes to mind. It doesn't get played hardly at all in North America and South America, but other regions still pick it occasionally in good Centaur games. But I think the Sand King, probably the safest bet here. Great initiation if they can catch it, and a lot of magic damage to help take down these other heroes.
Exactly, and it is gonna be it's gonna be a scary laning stage as you have the Little Nick Lycan versus Dark Mega Mid. You're not really gonna be able to control those runes. Nick's gonna have some good micro, at least trying to deny this Ember Spirit, because as soon as he gets speed, you're playing versus what, a Shadow Shaman? That's it. Tingle King is really gonna be stuck in his lane for a long time, and again, we see this time and time again with this Timbersaw pick. You just start running down towers, you run at them, and again, you were able to pick Timbersaw, and you're able to pick it with the Death Prophet on your team. So as soon as Flash is able to get that level 6, we're going to start seeing T1s fall. And if the cut aren't making the most of the map, I think we're just going to see another no ping victory.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm a little worried about this Lycan. I don't think it's going to have like the game it needs.
And it makes sense why they would pick it. It's just a classic hero, and it really inundates the first two. It inundates the Death Prophet and the Nyx Assassin. It makes their lives a lot harder. But even in the previous game, Matthew, he was, what, 0, 4, and 7? He had a very, very slow game, but it was just the information, the vision. All of his allies were able to make so much use out of what he was putting out on the map, and they're not requiring Matthew to go crazy. If they get the vision, this is a very farm-oriented lineup on NoPing. If they get at least anything out of 2 of the 3 lanes, they're going to be able to move this into towers.
Yeah, the big question here is going to be Oscar's Timbersaw as well, right? Like, I don't think you're going to be able to shut him down too much in this bottom lane. Yes, you do have Witch Doctor, which is fantastic, but he's going to be dealing with the Nyx Assassin for quite a bit. And if Timbersaw is able to get some space and just like cut towers, you're going to start losing a lot of that map very quickly, especially with the help of the Death Prophet once that 6 eventually comes out.
And again, I feel like as we see with a lot of these teams, make or break, it's going to be a lot of the pressure put onto Vol, as he's the hero that's going to rotate to this safe lane and trying to put them over the edge. You even see the Javelin, before the Javelin queued up on Scourges. He knows that's the only play versus Timbersaw in this matchup, and it's just such an uphill battle, I feel like, already for the cut, where you already have Little Nick will be able to sort of ignore the Ember Spirit for a large portion of this game, but giving Dark Mago a free lane, we saw what happened in the previous game. You give Dark Mago too much space, too much free time, and he just becomes that monster. And on Ember Spirit, we've already seen what an Ember Spirit with a little bit of farm is able to do, and we don't have that Orchid timing we saw earlier. We don't have that big lockdown or disable. It's really up to the supporting cast from Tingle and Vol, and all the pressure's on them this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lycan versus Ember lane, like, not something I'm super familiar with, right? Like, I don't really see Lycan mid all that often. I imagine you do have decent CS ability with the Summon Wolves, but if you just Flame Guard pushes level 1, there's not a lot. There's literally nothing you can do to stop the Flame Guard, which is one of those things that you have to have going against an Ember Spirit. And
one of the issues that sort of changed up the matchup is you don't have cripple up until level 4 now, which
yeah.
before pre-level 6, that was one of the big strengths of the hero. It would really make the trades go in your favor, but now it just feels like he's going to need to use those Lycan Wolves a lot of the time to scout out these runes, scout out what Dark Mago is up to, and in that time, I feel like NoPing are just going to be okay. We're farming, we're having a good time, and there's not much they can do about it. It's really going to be up to Mr. Nick here, making those good rotations with his ulti, not getting punished when he doesn't have shapeshift. It really just needs to be a picture-perfect game for a lot of the heroes on the cut.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Draft, like you said, still favoring NoPing here a little bit. Game resumed finally as we had our typical stretch break. I don't know. I think a lot of this game is going to be on Scourge's Troll Warlord. He just had little to no impact last game on the Juggernaut, right? And so now you have to wonder, you know, can you do something a little bit better here on the Troll Warlord this game? It's one of those things, like with Maelstrom, you do a lot of damage here.
Well, and you will be able to get online a little bit sooner, and that's the big goal that they want. And we already see Matthew, he might be trying to block the wave. No, just setting up for that next wave possibly. And it's those early levels that are really going to make or break it, and they need to punish him hard with this Witch Doctor. That's why we see this hero so valued in this region. Is you just pick him. It's very simple. It's versus those big beefy offlaners. But again, Oscar, he's one of the best offlaners. We've seen him draw so many lanes where he has no business winning. He's just able to get so much. And same with Matthew. Oh, that's a nice deny in the bot lane.
Keep our eyes on mid here. See if you can actually CS here on Lil Nick. He's actually able to grab them underneath the tower, but again, Dark Mago gets level 2 very early, able to just push it in completely with the Flame Guard, and gonna start pulling away in CS a little bit here. Well, 2 denies as well.
And it's very difficult, especially once Dark Mago decides to just start right-clicking the Wolves. If Nick's able to get enough XP, and it is difficult for Dark Mago, especially when he starts slighting. If he slights in a full creep wave and the Wolves, he is stuck in slight for quite a bit, and that might mess up a few last hits. But at the same time, this isn't a really skill-based matchup. This is Nick trying to get as much farm as possible, and Dark Mago trying to force Nick to buy as much regen to delay that timing more and more for that Necro book.
Exactly. Exactly. Overall, CS-wise, though, Naga Siren absolutely perfect CS in the top lane so far. 8-0. Oh, actually did miss one, it looks like, but still quite good. This hard camp pull actually kind of favors the Sand King, as he's just going to clean up all of them in the level 1 Caustic Finale.
At the same time, you don't really want to be fighting the Sand King if you are this Naga. You really want to buy a little bit of time, and Tingle's playing this perfectly as well. He's prepping the creeps, he's making HFN scared, and this is one of the few heroes where this is the case, but at the same time, HFN, he has a little bit of the damage advantage, he's a little bit scary, and if anything, Flash is the one that needs to be careful. Once they do have those levels up in Burrow Strike, then he can really start to get turned on by Vol, but all these pulls being successful, it's very big for the side of the cut.
We'll see how they do here. Vol on the Shaman, obviously. This hero does a ton of damage. Until Death Prophet has level 3, you actually don't trade favorably on the Death Prophet into the Shadow Shaman. So it's one of those things where we'll see how that ends up panning out for him. But yeah, Sandstorm going to help clear up a lot of these illusions. And this is one of the reasons I expected the Sand King pick here. Like, you don't have the same amount of harassment that you normally have out of this Naga Siren, right? Like, you're going to be using these to farm as opposed to also zoning out a lot of these other heroes. Well, I guess now you can run them into Vol, but not nearly as strong as it normally is.
Exactly, and just needs to be so careful on when he actually uses his spell, because it is a long cooldown. It's very similar to the Jug Spin, where you use it, you waste it maybe 1 or 2 times, and versus Tinkle, that's when they're going to try and make those plays on you, trying to buy regen. As everybody in this game, it's just a timing thing. They're going to try and make the enemy team farm, and farm for as long as they can. It's getting clicked mid, though.
Yeah, Dark Mago actually almost died. The rotation from Matthew scouted, though, by this ward, so he knew he had to back off. But yeah, Nick almost killed Dark Mago before the bottle got delivered. It was very close. In top lane, Shackle, Naga Siren inside the wave. Inside the Sandstorm, rather. 50 HP, Tingle King underneath the Sentry. Ends up going the way of Flash. He was 1 second off that Burrow Strike. And he gets it, and now HFN's going to chase after Vol. He just goes to deny the salve, I guess. But beautiful play there from NoPing, just barely getting the edge out on that fight.
He gets to salve up HFN in the meantime, so he's not afraid to stand in this wave. It's really just a beautiful play from Flash. Oh, Tingle. He just missed the Burrow Strike. Now Flash is going to just deny himself.
Oh no.
Boy.
You hate to see it sometimes.
And this is the issue, is now HFN, he's going to have this Death Prophet coming back. He might be able to give him a few items, but he's just going to be free farm, and as soon as this lane gets a little bit too annoying for HFN, he would just be able to very easily rotate out. Whereas in the bot lane, it's been completely silent, and that's what we don't want to hear. We want to hear Oscar dying. We want to hear him getting ticked down by the Maledict, but that just simply hasn't been the case. Matthew has been so effective at stopping the goes from Pingu and
They're actually instead going to chase onto Pingu here. He gets that Fairy Fire off, but Oscar pops those wand charges and just sitting so healthy, and that's just an easy pick off for them. Oscar having a fantastic time in the bottom lane, and like we said, you've got a lot of this game is going to be on this. Oh my gosh, Dark Mago almost going down mid lane. He gets level 6 though and pops a regen rune. Yeah, that's where that 4-minute bounty power rune comes into play here, and he is just going to be able to kite out Lil Nick so much here and get so much more harassment damage. Scourge getting pressured even further in this bottom lane.
And again, you have the Javelin, but you need the level 6, and Vol is stuck top. He needs to stay with Tingle King, otherwise they're going to continue to fall behind, and it just means Oscar gets to play his own game. And at the same time, Nick's a Lycan. You can't make these rotations to the bot lane, and Nick's getting bursted.
Yeah, he's going to go down. triple remnant right under the tower. Dark Mago finds the kill. And this is the thing. This all starts with that dive top lane, actually, where they barely, not dive rather, but where they don't get the kill onto HFN. They can't come to the 4-minute power rune, whereas Nick's assassin was just protecting the bottom. And he gets a regen, and it completely sets the mid lane apart once again.
It just feels like NoPing are setting the pace on all fronts, and again, and he's got a rune. Okay, Nick's got the wolves to deny this one, but still, it just feels as if NoPing, they're getting so much out of their lanes, and at the same time, the cut, they're suffering. You do have this Necro, I believe, getting completed on Nick, and we might see a rotation coming out
the
for
coconut
him, but
perfectly onto Oscar. It doesn't even matter. He's got 11 wand charges. It's Maledict level 2, Scourge, no care in the world. Look at that. He is just so tanky on this Timbersaw. Mid lane, nice and pale.
And that's the issue. Who do you put the pressure on once you have this Necro completed? Nick, if anything, is just going to be forced to farm. And in this game, you want to make the rotation to kill Oscar. You want to make these early rotations to push the Naga out of their lane. But going 1-for-1, this is a game where the cut can't be happy going 1-for-1. They need to be getting more and more out of these lanes. Otherwise, NoPing, they're just going to farm. And they're going to be completely happy with it because you have this Naga Siren.
Chain's barely off in the mid lane. They were looking to set up another kill there. Little Nick, I mean, he's just being heavily pressured here by Dark Mago. He gets the Necro Book. Flame Guard absorbs that burst damage. Level 4 Flame Guard already, so he's pretty happy.
Ooh, top.
Ooh, D-Flash, yeah, gonna go down there. Nice rotation from Scourge. He doesn't want to be bottom anymore in a Timbersaw, and who can blame him? Pingu trying to soak some solo experience for now. I mean, maybe you TP down Sand King, but this is also a terrible lane for the Sand King. Oh my god, Coconut immediately to the TP. Pingu is out. Later, dog.
Oscar didn't even know if he wanted to spend any spells on him, as it was a long TP, but again, this is the Timbersaw. It's the 5-minute card, and
they're looking for the Naga Siren with those Necro Books. They're coming out right now. HFN starting to fall low. They get the cripple, the immediate Song of the Siren level at level 7, and you might be in some trouble here if you're the Lycan. Dark Mago coming in with the Searing Chains. They're able to hold him in place. Oh, it catches the Necro Creeps instead, and the Wolf is out.
Nice little micro play coming in from Nick. Matthew didn't feel confident enough to actually tingle.
The 2-man stun. Can they follow it up? But burst damage is there. The Shackle. He ends up choosing the Nyx instead of Dark Mago, and he's looking to get on out. Dodges out the Coconut for the time being, but the Hex comes in from Vol. Double kill for Tingle King on the Sand King.
Just absolutely perfect. Using this vision to their utmost, and if anything, Dark Mago got a little bit greedy. He thought the only way he could survive there was to maybe get that Invis rune at the top spot, but instead, you give up kills, and these are the kills you don't want to give up because now they know that Song is on cooldown, and but before level 12, it's going to be that very, very long cooldown, and towers are going to fly. And that's the lineup that they need to continuously play. They need to keep the pressure on, and we need to see Scourge. As soon as he gets this Maelstrom, maybe not showing up to fights, but they need to keep this Catalyst going. They need to keep on putting pressure, especially while Matthew and Flash are a little bit low on levels.
Dude, this
is gonna pause though.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're just gonna be chilling under a nice little pause for a moment. I mean, we've been seeing a fair amount of pauses today, unfortunately, but you know, it's just a necessity. No real reasoning behind this one quite yet. My guess would probably be ping.
Well, they've got no ping though. That's the point, right?
That is true.
Very well timed from Scourge. He has no idea what I'm saying, but good laugh. Someone's laughing. And if anything, it's unfortunate Oscar wasn't able to be that bulwark in the mid lane and stand in front and defend his mid T1 tower, but going and pushing Scourge out of the lane top, it also works because at the end of the day, Scourge, he will have to sort of retreat into that jungle, and it's exactly where the rest of his team sort of wants to play as well, up until Nick has that Necro 3 and he's able to put a lot of pressure on the map. And this is going to be a fast Necro 3. He's very farmed, especially after that one kill. He will be able to put a lot of pressure out on the map, but HFN is happy. He's able to relocate to the bottom lane, which has just been completely vacated after the Timbersaw decimated that tower. And I'm trying to think what the game plan for the cut is. They just need to keep on rolling these towers as efficiently as possible, but at the end of the day, NoPing, they're very scary, especially with this Timbersaw. And Oscar, he's one of those few players that you don't want to give too big of a lead. We've really seen him come into his own as this tournament's progressed.
Yeah, he's been one of the biggest playmakers here for NoPing, just putting in so much work in their series. And I mean, you can see it. He's just making this Troll Warlords game so miserable. You see Scourge go top lane, he takes bottom tower, just goes immediately back to top, and now Scourge has nowhere to farm. He's just trying to get to this Maelstrom, but he is the lowest net worth of all 6 cores so far in this game.
And we've seen specifically today just how powerful these sort of late pick Timbersaws can be, where it almost feels as if the later you're able to pick this hero, the better it is. And as you see everything sort of shown in the Cuts draft, it's a little bit unfortunate, as it really is just the Sand King who's trying to rush for this Blink Dagger. That's really going to be their big playmaker, but it's the damage that you can put it with him. And as of right now, it's a very low level Sand King. This is a very early T1 mid tower, but it's still, I feel a little bit scared for them as of right now, as I believe there's a hood in the works for this Timbersaw. And then we don't have that Queen of Pain. We don't have that Orchid that we saw was sort of the punishment in that game earlier. We don't have those items coming nearly as fast. And we don't have heroes that build those items nearly as fast.
Yeah, and say the only option is like Spirit Vessel or something that can shut down the Timbersaw, and that just doesn't exist. It's just going to be the Maledict from the Witch Doctor. It's why we have 3 points in it already. We'll eventually just max this out, try to pick up some kills, maybe with the level 4 Maledict Death Ward, but that's pretty much your only option. Bottom lane, they do just TP Scourge back down here. He wants to just farm safely. Sand King taking a nice stack here in the jungle. They drop Ward Sentry, and that's going to get dewarded immediately.
And they feel just a little bit too pressured, but HFN, he's stacking for himself. He's farming the bot lane, and again, you don't want to be Scourge in this situation because you're going to start just eating the scraps from the Naga, as he's most likely going to start purging into that jungle if he has the time to. And almost with Yasha, this Nagas aren't just one of those heroes that continuously picks up speed, and with this Timbersaw is just so annoying. It's just a big thorn in your side, and up until Necro 3, it really feels like there isn't a play to be made on that hero.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's closing in on it. About just a little over 700 gold away. And once he has that, you do have some plays you can make with the Necro 3. Just obviously Shapeshift giving so much mobility and damage. You can just run them at the back line, take down pretty much any hero. Heroes like Death Prophet, the Nyx Assassin, all of them just get absolutely destroyed by the Necro book here. Huge ward scouting this out.
Top. Yeah, they see everything, and they've got to be a little bit scared. And Oscar won't even give it up. He knows how unimportant this tower is, and his team's getting farm elsewhere. Flash was able to take the mid lane, get its levels towards that level 6 as he's a little bit behind. But again, this is how they like to play, especially with the Nyx Assassin. Matthews, some people use it as an insult, but he's really just the living ward. He's walking around getting so much information, telling everyone where this troll is playing, where he's not playing, where HFN can get the most farm, and it just feels so effective.
Yeah. We'll see Troll keep this mid lane tower pushed out. And from now, it's just kind of just hoping that this Lycan can take enough objectives away from the side of NoPing. Okay, Sand King is scouting out a big stack here, and he's a hungry boy. He wants this. Top lane, they're going on the Timbersaw, but I don't think you have the damage for this. And instead, they're going to go up on the high ground, find Dark Mago and Impale. You're just immediately dead on the Witch Doctor. Yes, you got Maledict, but that Sandstorm, it's not going to be enough, especially with the Timbersaw rotating in. Okay.
And they just got wind of it. They got a small glimpse of the stack. They got a little bit too greedy, and I think, yeah, they just placed this ward, find the immediate punishment, and again, Scourge has made the rotation. He has to do this awful TP bottom. He's just getting the wave that's getting pushed in from HFN, while HFN is getting the entire jungle and what Scourge wants to be farming, and this is not what you want to be happening on the cut.
Yeah, level 3 Necro is finally out now for Little Nick, but I mean, you can't kill the Timbersaw with it. It's got to be a different hero. Vol almost finds Matthew, but a nice Impale comes out, able to stop that.
I mean, 4K gold lead emerging from really nothing happening. It was just those 2 kills getting picked off, and if Nick has to use his ult defensively, this is a disaster.
Yeah, he's out. Well, I mean, he's trying to get out. He's definitely dead. He does at least take down the Nyx Assassin. Vol going for that shackle onto Dark Mago, but the melee creep is dead, so there's no more mana burn. They commit the Death Ward. Dark Mago's got Maledict on him, taking quite a bit, but he's going to survive. 200-ish health. Flash pops that Exo, chasing down Pingu here, and with Oscar in pursuit, no chance in... Well, unless you just tank the coconut, maybe you get out. Maybe that exorcism, it's so close. It's just barely chipping him. In comes the Epi. He's able to go right onto the backside and go for flash, but he doesn't have the damage by himself. Once again, falling up just a little bit short here on the cut.
And even though he has that max bro strike, he has his blink dagger. First off, that's your reveal, but you're only level 8, maybe on Tingle King in a second here, and it just feels so bad. And now that you don't have this tool as the Lycan, you just have to farm. You have to sit back and farm. And at the same time, Scourge, it just feels like he's been stuck down here for eons, and he's just not able to find the exact same farm that this Naga is. And this Naga, it's just huge at this point. And once he gets that level 12, then he can start playing even more aggressively in the side lanes. And again, it's up to Vol, it's up to Tingle King to find these pickoffs. And if they're not finding these picks, then NoPing are just completely happy. They're going to maintain this gold lead going into whatever mid game they have for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Sanjin Yasha is just such an incredible item to pick up this early into the game. Just that extra status resist, but also just the extra health to work with. It's just a perfect stat item for the Naga, and she's not really worried about any form of a silence or anything, so Manta style is not like essential in any way. So you just get that item online earlier and try and farm. All right, they're gonna go ahead and try and chase top lane. Steering Chains ends up catching Vol on the high ground, immediately responds with a Hex. There's gonna be a Burrow Strike as well with Scourge rotating in. Shackles, they get him a huge silence and just blows apart the backside here on Oscar. You're even gonna lose. Tingle King, triple kill for this Timbersaw, and they're gonna be able to stun up Scourge as well. Make it an ultra. The Timbersaw is just too damn strong.
And now you see a nice 2,200 gold in his pocket. Oh, and Nick's gonna be forced to ulti. Oh,
he's gonna send the creeps in.
A disaster. This is just an absolute disaster for the cut. As again, we see Flash, and this is something that we've seen the past 5 Death Prophets do whenever they are in these positions. Max silence. It's a 6-second silence, and you need to be so careful. But if you're the Cuts lineup, you have to group up. You have to use so many spells. You're so XP starved, and you just don't have the opportunities. NoPing have just been a little bit too successful all around the board, and what Dark Mago's getting a BKB now, and again, Flash, he just pops the ultimate. It's gonna mean towers, and this Timber's just a beast.
There it is, the Blink Epi doing what he can in the center of the fight here. In comes the Malda, catching on two, but an immediate Song of the Siren. They're kind of stuck here in the center. The Maledict, however, not going to be able to finish off everyone. Searing Chains on the side, going to hold him back. D-Flash able to escape. He's trying to chase down Timber. They got nothing. A Song of the Siren to just disengage.
It's
well played once again.
Even though they force out the exorcism, and not even force out, they tried to make use of it. It's not the worst feeling in the world, because while these tools are taken out of the hands of the Cut, they have to wait. They have to either get a smoke up, they need to wait for the chorus, they need to wait for the Lycan shapeshift, and again, it's just NoPing, their vision, everything. It's just being so perfectly played right now, and again, Dark Mago, he just kills these creeps. Nick is not able to farm.
He's got his Necro books here, and yeah, he's just basically a big melee creep at this point.
I can only imagine now Oscar with the pipe already accomplished. It's really just the physical damage now. They can go, oh,
yeah,
well.
Sentry dropped and they take him down with a slight fist. Witch Doctor mid lane caught by an ensnare there. A nice jump. Pingu trying to do what he can to run, but he just can't do it. The Necro army is just cleaned up so fast by the Dire as well. It just ends up being a 1 for 2. You do get the Nyx Assassin, luckily, but it's falling apart so fast here for the side of the Cut. Scourge just trying to find what farm he can on the map, and it's just not it's not going to get there.
And we're just not seeing them able to push these side lanes fast enough. Vol, he has had a pretty quiet game, but no wards. He isn't able to drop it down on the T2. And every single time they get these easy resets, this is what we were seeing in the Ember game. If he wants, he just drops down a Remnant. He farms out the wave that you're trying to split. And he's always active on the map. He's always able to get something done. And again, the Cut, they need to hug, they need to hold hands. There's no way for them to make plays separately. There's no pickoff, there's no really flashy playmaking hero. It just seems like all of the numbers are in NoPing's favor.
They're going to try and go for the Timbersaw here. They have the Blink, the Burrow Strike, Vol relatively close, but again, Flash on the backside. You can't go for the Shackle because of the Death Prophet, and they just have to back. Unless you go for the Death Prophet, they're going to go ahead and send in the Necro army, turn their attention over. There's going to be the Hex. Out comes that Coconut. The Maledict, they're going to throw everything they have at the Timbersaw, and it looks like it will finally be enough.
And if anything, that's the one downside where if you do throw everything at Oscar, he will die. That is your guarantee, but At what cost? You've used everything. That was your Lycan's shapeshift. You aren't able to put any damage onto this tier 2 top. You might stick around, and we see it so often. He's getting a heart on this Naga Siren. He's only 700 gold away, and then we're not even 20 minutes into this game. What are you going to do to a nearly 2700 HP hero? I'm not sure.
You ignore them, actually. I think that's it. You actually just ignore the Naga Siren and try to kill other people. D-Flash stuck there for a moment. Luckily, he has phase boots to dodge it out, but Vol obviously giving the vision on the backside, though.
Oh,
they catch Pingu once again. Burrow Strike onto the Nyx, but there's not a lot of options here. The big AoE silence, and now Scourge. He's got to be careful. The question is, can they burst him down before the battle trance? He does get it off just in time, but he's just beating into the illusions, getting absolutely nothing. Nice Burrow Strike comes through, but the Chain Stuns are there. Troll Warlord, he's got nothing, and another silence holding him down. Triple kill for Dark Mago on the Ember Spirit.
And again, Echoes, they had to use everything to kill Oscar. They tried to push top. They tried to make something good happen, and they get punished. Nick can't show up. He's probably their strongest hero at this point, and I don't think they can get Roche off of this, but they're just going back out onto the map. And even when Oscar was dying, that was literally a 1v5 situation. As soon as Dark Mega or HFN decide to show up, it feels like the fight is impossible for the cut at this point.
And he's closing. They're trying to do what they can, but they're smoking at the bottom. They have the vision here on the high ground, scouting Lil Nick. Pingu might pop the smoke, trying to save Lil Nick. The silence actually barely misses, so he can go ahead and wolf form here. But in comes Dark Mago again with the shackles, holding him in place. The BKB comes in from the Ember. They're trying to do what they can. Scourge realizing he does not want any part of this. Tingle King, he's doing his absolute best to try and keep his team in this, but it's just all falling apart. Troll Warlord caught another silence. There's going to be an epicenter coming in from the Sand King. He just takes so much damage from Oscar. The death, though, it doesn't stop the epicenter. They get the Maledict onto the death, onto the Timbersaw. The Death Wards there. They take down 2 so far, but the dieback on that Witch Doctor. Scourge got to make it back to the base 5 seconds before that battle trance. The song actually favoring him a little bit, but an immediate impale. The evasion, though, ends up going his way. He's going to try and do what he can. Spike Carapace to stun him down, and Troll Warlord baited so far out of his base. Nothing you can do. Triple kill for HFN on the Naga Siren.
And at the beginning of all that, not even to mention, I don't think you lost your Sand King twice. I believe there was a buyback. Yeah, you lost the Witch Doctor twice, but again, like an ulti, it goes off immediately as he dies. Now it's on the cooldown again, and it feels like there's nothing aggressive that they can do. And you're right, Tingle King, he's trying so hard to keep them into this game, but at this rate, this Naga, she just does not care. Whoever goes up against her, she's going to hit. She has 3000 HP now with the Sange. She's got 90 HP regen. And again, you don't have a Vessel. You don't have these timings. If anything, it's going to be the BKB on Scourge, but then that just stops you from dying. You're not outputting any more damage with that item build, and it feels like they just need to get something. They're grasping at straws if you're the cut right now.
I mean, it's hard to say that they can grasp at anything. And they are 13,000 behind here, 20 minutes into the game against a Naga Siren who has this Heart of Tarrasque completed. She's sending out that Imp Claw, which is just so good as it does allow your illusions to crit. And then just debating on what to spend the rest of her money on. It might have just been the Ag Shard, I think, is what she might have just purchased. I'll have to see here. No, it was a quarter staff, so she's going to go for the Butterfly.
Yeah, and that's just going to be disastrous, as you already aren't playing well from behind, and Vol, well,
yeah, Shackle, but Matthew with this nice little Blink Dagger going to help pick him off. Another kill going their way. They're trying to split push this game and slow it down on the cut, but they're just going to TP back the Nyx. They do have vision of the TP, though. Immediately pops the Vendetta. There is a sentry here to scout it. The question is, can they even punish it?
And he's just trying to stop TPs. They're just going to go up high ground. They have the level 2 Exo, and are you just going to ignore it? You're going to take Matthew?
I mean, Matthew's just making space. He does not even care. He might not even die. He doesn't die. Oh, my goodness. He's
just looking to break TPs. Oh, he's going to see Tingle. Oh, no.
Yeah, they can't actually get back to base, and they're just taking this barracks one by one. They even catch Lil Nick with that silence, following up after that ensnare. There's just so much control between these heroes, so many roots.
And at this point, little do they know they can just do whatever they want. There's nothing. Vol's just going to die under his T4s for free.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to be a friend, but...
Yeah, and it might cost Pingu his life. He drops the coconut, or the Maledict. Death Ward comes out. Dark Mago still has BKB. pretty tanky as well. Nick flies back into the game, pops that shapeshift. They've got to get something. Dark Mago immediately BKBs. Sand King stuck in the center. Will throw a Yule to try and buy himself a little bit of time, but Dark Mago is out. And now the Sand King just by himself, no mana left. He could go for an Epi, but the Timber Saw is just going to clean him up. They cannot even take down D-Flash, the Song of the Siren. The GGs are out. It is just an absolute stomp. NoPing, clean up big here in game 3, keeping their tournament life alive.
And it would have been a fantastic story if the cut were able to pull anything back, pull anything from the hands of NoPing, but it was just clean, calculated, a perfect draft, if anything, coming out from NoPing. And again, the draft, it means so much in these games, and it's really what separates a lot of the tier 1 and tier 2 teams. And at the end of the day, it was a good shot from the cut, especially in that first game. But again, it was just a little bit too much for him. At the end of the day, Division 1, upper division, SA team plays versus your Div 2 NA team, newlywed Div 1 team, but there's just not enough experience for the cut to take up the big boys on NoPing just yet.
Yeah, I mean, NoPing is an incredibly strong team. I think a lot of people expected them to win this series. They're definitely the favorite here. Just a great performance from them in both games. Realistically, Dark Mago, game 1 and 2, popped off. Oscar, you give him a hero like Timbersaw in a good Timbersaw game, and he's going to make so much space and put in so much work. Yeah, congratulations, NoPing. They take it 2-0, advancing themselves further on into the tournament. Now, we do have a bracket, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take a look here. NoPing, they are going to be playing up against Penta Ace in the lower bracket semifinals. And then we also have our upper bracket finals of Undying and 4 Zoomers. Now, those games, I believe, are going to be happening tomorrow. And then the final day of the tournament will be Sunday, where we have the lower bracket finals, essentially your semifinals and your grand finals. So 2 incredible series coming up tomorrow. Penta Ace and NoPing scraping their way through this lower bracket, making sure that they can keep this going. And Undying, Zoomers, 2 absolutely dominant teams that have played so well this whole tournament, including the group stage, and going undefeated in the upper bracket. So that's going to be a heck of a game to watch. Definitely make sure to tune in for that one. You will not want to miss it. But ET, that does it for us today. We've made it another day of playoffs down. Big Pog, yeah. Congratulations again to Penta Ace and NoPing for their wins today. But any final thoughts, any final words for all the viewers?
No, just reiterating exactly what you said. Tune in tomorrow, Undying versus Zoomers. That's the game that I'm going to be watching. Going to keep me on the edge of my seat. Definitely want to see if Undying are going to prove up, because they're really the team that everybody's sort of looking out for at this point, and I'm very excited. They're the one team that couldn't make it to Singapore, and I think they're really the biggest contender in NA as of right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. Absolutely. NoPing, the only South American team still left, an incredibly strong South American team. So we'll see what they can do against Penta Ace. And overall, very excited with how this is turning out. Again, big shout out to BTS for putting this tournament together, the Pro Series 5. The Pro Series tournaments in general, always an absolute blast. So thank you guys so much for giving myself and ET here a platform to cast on. But that's going to do it for us. Thank you all so much for watching. You have a wonderful night, and we will see you tomorrow.